Breakdown time. So, your last fight, we're gonna watch your last fight, and then we're gonna watch a sparring with Tristan, and then we're gonna watch some of my sparring. And the reason why we're gonna watch my sparring is because what I do it'd be the same shit that I want you guys to do, but it's gonna make sense for me to show you a good example of something that I need y'all to do and see how effective it is compared to how you guys are doing it and why it's not as effective. So it'll be a three part video. This fight, you're sparring. Now we're getting somewhere. Freaking Jay. So first video would be your fight. The second video would be your sparring, which you've been making some really good improvements. I just want to explain to you why. So when you're training, you can keep that in the back of your mind and reflect on it as you're doing your thing, man. Because you got to know why you're doing it. You got to know why you're doing it. And then once shit starts fucking up, because it's easy to start going back into bad habits or building them. It's like, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing and I'll make those adjustments. That's kind of how I'm able to train myself a bit. Now the biggest thing is just your footwork. There is a lot of moments where you're breaking your base in this fight, and there's some moments where you're not breaking your base, and just how the fucking impact that it makes for you. God, bro, what? Motherfuckers be responding late as shit. Alright. Let's just get to the fucking video before I get mad. Let's see. The fucking goddamn icon's in the way. Hold on. There we go. Alright, so 2 and then cross your feet. That's just fucking crazy. You did a great job recovering after, though. I do like that, but it's super inefficient, though, man. Like, you can just tire yourself out. Like, if you did that shit a bunch of times, you're gonna tire yourself out because how quickly you gotta recover from it. You gotta get your balance back. But you did do a good job recovering after. Did a good job getting the jab back. However, what I don't like about it was the entire setup. So, zoom in. Pay attention to your feet, because you like shuffle into it instead of like just stepping over with the jabs like we do on the hex. You like shuffled into it, and it kind of fucks up your foot placement. So you can see it, and it just fucks up your balance. Like if you treat it just like the hex drill, like shot a couple of jabs while you stepped over, you probably would have got out of the way of that counter. Actually, I don't even know if he hit you, but nah, it did. But if you had just did the jabs a little bit differently, you would have gone well out of the way. And then when you right here, you shoot you start crossing your feet to walk over. He's too close to be breaking your base like that. Like if you were picking your feet up to quickly create space, it's one thing, but in such a close proximity, you should be taking small steps, small calculated steps to control the distance and make them lunge in. Like that. So like the cross is no good. Small step back after the cross. That's what you should be doing more of. The back, and look, you just look like you're ready to fucking fire off some shit. You wouldn't look like that if you're so this is something you should be doing more of, so you can start letting guys walk into and or let them close that gap and let them focus on moving forward, and then you can launch your attack after. Because you caught the fuck out of them with that too. Like you set it up right with the small step back, you shot the 2, you just got greedy. And I'm not a big fan of the double backhand. Like I know he's southpaw, but man, you go 2 3s, 2 3, 2 5s. You still go left, right, left. You just go right, left, right. With your combinations, or you can just pick them apart, get the shot off, then move your hands down so you get hit with the hook. If you shot this 2 and just kept your base and kept that left hand up, you probably would have caught the punch. It could have still got in, but you just wouldn't have gotten hit flush. 2 rolls, 2 step back after. Part of the reason why you got hit is because you're crossing your feet. Like, you can't do much. Your back foot's moving. So like, just watch the feet. So you 2, yeah, he's hitting you while that foot's moving. Like, you can't really do anything on one fucking leg, man. So you got to make sure you're throwing your punches, maintaining your base a little bit more, and then you try to punch while you cross your feet. That's really crazy. Still got him though. Roll. You had the right idea here, and that's the time when you cross your feet, when you're trying to create some traps. So like, you'll shuffle over, and then you attack when he steps. That's good. Just crossing your feet, man. Crossing your feet with the backhand, the straight backhand. You can't really follow up. Can't really follow up that way, man. Really ain't much else to say. And then it'd be one thing if like you threw a 2, right? And you kind of like took some steam off that punch because you kept your hands up. But it'd be one thing to 2 cross your feet and then smother into him, but then you try to quickly disengage. Like, you're getting away with it now, but this is real early on in the fight. Once you start slowing down, man, like, the further you get away from your fundamentals, the worse you're gonna be off, because they'll just start adjusting. They'll start punching a little bit faster. They'll start timing it. And like, right now it's cool, but later on down the stretch of a fight, man, that shit start getting pretty iffy. And right there, you just wasn't paying attention to the distance, crossing your feet. And then right here, don't like is you're right in front of him. 1, 2. In front of him, like, you should be using your jabs to get around him. If you're gonna close the gap with the 1-2, get in there, but there's no reason for you stepping in. Like, you should be punching at a range where you don't actually have to physically close the gap. Like, he should just be at the end of your punches, and as soon as he start to go for it, you could just step back. Or you should be using your circle jab, stepping to the left with a couple jabs, and hitting them with a punch, hitting them with the backhand. But instead, you go for the 1-2, and you're giving the shorter fighter the luxury of just being able to punch you on the line. Good idea with the lead hand. Good steps. So the small steps are good. The back step, there was no need for that. Unless you were just gonna disengage with him. If you're gonna disengage with him, disengage with him. And there's some extra movements here too. So step back, cross your feet, right? You cross your feet and you're not even trying to move right for real. Like, you moved over a little bit and it's still right in front. That's a subconscious little thing, just how you tap your foot on the ground, right? You wanna maintain your base a little bit. Like, you kind of got a case of happy feet, man. So sometimes you're vulnerable and you probably don't even know why. You probably can't even explain it because you got shit like this going on. You're not constantly ready with your feet. There's times where like you're subconsciously taking a break here. You could just see it in your feet, right? So when you do something like that, like this, all your weight's really on your back leg. So if he just hurry up rushed in with a 1-2, 1-2, or some bullshit, he's gonna have the advantage, because you gotta get locked in again. You gotta put your feet down. You gotta get your base set. It's no bueno. I do like the feint. We gotta feint a lot more. God damn it. So, shot the feint like that. You feint and then it's like this, and then all this extra stuff with your footwork. But where did you for a little bit? You could have just feint and stayed right there, or be ready to step back and then circle out. So whenever you're like kind of crossing your feet to go left or right laterally, you need to actually go left or right, or don't do it, because it's just extra step. It's extra movements for nothing. And this was, it looked like you got up the way of that. So it's jab, and what made it possible that it was a smaller step, even though the back foot's gonna take a big step, but you know the setup for it, you know, you took smaller steps. The key is small steps. Small steps. The only time you take big explosive steps are when you want to get out of range. This is decent balance. You got to be careful with body jabs like this. And the back leg traveling pretty far. Lateral movement with a body jab. That's actually a super common mistake. But you can get away with it because you're taller. But you know, you got to just be careful with things like that. Body jab, back foot trails off. But you got to be careful. And let's see. So we're here. We're going to step and then take the extra little hop. And there was no need for that hop. All right. So you're leaving yourself much more vulnerable, much more often, just making your job a lot harder. Like you could have just stepped back. It should have been step. Instead it's step and then hop. Watch that again. Step, hop. Now you're here, stepping left. All right. You're in range to punch. You're in range to get some shit going. And you can see that. So step, boom, yep. And that's why you need to be taking small steps so you can be ready to counter. Now, the 6 is kind of crazy. The double 6 is crazy. I mean, like if you did the 6, so you go for a 6, right, and then you got head control. When you miss that, I wouldn't try to just punch. I would miss and then tie up. Miss, tie up. Don't give shorter fighter the opportunity to punch at a range that they need to be. You need to just deny that inside position. Or if you need to, you know, we worked on it a little bit. We get on the inside. You're kind of punching with the free hand. You're controlling one hand, but you're not allowing any space for both hands to throw. Right here, you should have just kept weight on the back of his head and initiated the clinch, instead of trying to go for another punch. And it like he got you in the body for it. And that's why. So they can't fucking start building any type of momentum off that position, man. So small step. You know, you kind of crossed your feet with it, but this is a lot better. Small step, hand fight, small step. This is good. And it's just good because it's simple. It's simplistic. You're balanced. Even weight distribution. You know, you're not like putting all the weight on one foot and then letting the other foot move. Like this is good footwork mechanics. And then when you're not ready to fight, right, he throws. Now you're using that explosive movement to create some space. Right, that's when you do that shit and you circle out with it. You step back, you circle out, you square yourself up. That's how you properly disengage, right? Because before you just would move your foot over to the right, you'll open your body up, and you don't even get away from the guy. Like right here, he can't hit you. Now you do gotta pay attention to when they cut you off though, because like you'll disengage well, and then he just kind of meets you at this point. Now you off this, all right? You should let him run into the 2. I know you'll do it later in this fight, but that should be something else that you're doing consistently, is setting traps off this type of movement. So once you disengage and you see the motherfucker cutting you off, all right, well, I'm gonna make sure my feet set so I can bam hit him with some shit. Instead, you allowed him to cut you off and then throw a punch right off that. You get hit though, so that's good. And then you fucking paused. Like, what happened? All right. First, another good disengagement. But I would have but then you start crossing your feet right after, man. He's yeah, like you see what the problem is? So it's like I'm gonna step back, disengage, which is good, cross the feet. Wait, problematic because you get right back into your stance, you're ready for action. I'm assuming that you paid attention to the distance when you did it. I think that's my biggest issue. Is are you paying attention to the distance? Lean back, quick shuffle out. And you got to be ready to strike. You weren't ready to strike, and that just mostly because you haven't trained to shuffle back and then counter. Right? You could have took small step back and done the same thing and then be ready to strike. But you shuffle back, you had to stop, gather your base, and then shot the two. And you missed your opportunity. Step back. You see it took you. And I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean. So let's see if I can keep this shit together. Shuffle. Stop. Getting your feet gathered. Now I'm gonna throw my two. Like right there. Like as soon as I landed, if I were to shuffle back, I would have been able to shot this two a lot sooner. You gave him the opportunity to see it. And then you started off well with the two, and then you cross. Now, I wouldn't have a problem with this if you switch stance or cross your feet to smother, but instead, you're kind of going to try to bump them up off you. Now, the problem is most athletes, this isn't going to stop them. Their balance is going to be good enough to keep punching and to even get rocked back a little bit and still throw. It's going to make a lot more sense for you to either continue to press into them or to tie up. And I'd rather you go for the two and then tie up. And then the disengagement on your turns instead of having the ref call it. But you getting some punches off. You keep your hands up though, which is good. And this, I like the disengagement. I like that you're ready for it. God damn it, this motherfucker. I like the disengagement right here. Right, so you're not, shot the feint, which is good. A little subtle feint. You're not ready to fight, so you just step out. Beautiful. And then you took some small steps in. Kind of got lost here a little bit, but that's okay. This motherfucker, bro. Hold on. Let's skip forward a little bit. All right. So this was one thing that made me really happy to see was when you shot the two and you stepped right instead of crossing your fucking feet. And it just gave you more opportunities to do shit. So some lateral movement to disengage, right? You try to walk him into this 1-2, which almost worked. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You let him walk into the 1-2, and that's something you should be doing a lot of. You're gonna sidestep, had some controls which made it a little bit more successful. But look, so you didn't cross your feet, you're right back into your stance, land a crazy ass two, man. And you gotta do more of that shit, man. Like, cause you throw that two a lot, right? Sometimes you land it, sometimes you don't. But if you were stepping over with it and the guy just, trying to slip, or maybe you can get some similar controls like this, you can put, what I'm saying, make a lot more fights, a lot more competitive, and be breaking the wills of a lot of guys. Cause this shit was beautiful right here. He's all out of position, man. Like he's a little bit befuddled right now. All right, so and here goes. So you're a little too close, or at least I'm assuming you're a little too close to be crossing your feet like this. Like when a guy's at, maintain your stance a little bit more, which look like you made that adjustment because you're taking some nice small steps here, kind of shuffled right here, but it's still closer to the ground. You're closer to your base. 3. And that's why you need to be in your base. Now, what I don't like is how you put all your weight on your back foot, which makes your left foot comes up and forces you to shuffle. So you got to start. Your biggest thing is just taking smaller steps. Whether you're going forward, backwards, left, right, taking smaller steps, especially when the guy is in range. Unless you're going to be explosive and quick about creating space, that's the only time you bring your feet up and you kind of compromise your balance a little bit with shuffles. But when a guy is this close, steps. Because right here, this was a good sequence, right? You know, stepped in halfway, came in with the 3, pulled your head back. You just rocked too much weight on your back foot, though. And then you fucked up your momentum. So now you got to get your feet in position. And why you got hit to the body here? Because while you're getting your feet under you, he's still punching. He's still in position to punch. And this was a beautiful fucking 2, man. Look. 2, right? Textbook 2. Now your back leg trails a little bit, but it's very minimal. It's very minimal, and it helps execute the roll. And this is something all the fucking time, man. So when you lead with your 2, you're either gonna 2 roll, 2 slip to the left and then shuffle out, or 2 you can cross step and smother and then start tying up. Like that should be your MO when you shoot your straight right. This is a good attempt for an active high guard, but he is getting around it a little bit. Part of what isn't helping you is that you're a bit squared up, but I would make sure you keep your eyes on a guy. You should be attacking while your back is on the rope, because the guy just in front of you, you know, like he's not really using any controls or any good high level inside fighting like I would do. There's really no reason for you not to be hitting him instead of just going purely defense. The double backhand's kind of crazy. Even though you did good with it, you just kind of fucked up your momentum by just trying to double up on it. And I mean, look, this is part of the footwork thing. So it's 2. You know, you stayed in your base with it, which is pretty good, and the back leg swings. However, you go for the second straight right, stepping back with your left foot. That's fucking crazy. Man, you should have 2, did that little pivot you just did, and then got to working left and right, left and right, left and right. Because he's not in the best position right now. If you wanted to put more punches together, because you could just punch, move, as long as you're scoring. But you got to make sure that your upper body and your lower body and is just working in tangent. Like you got your legs doing one thing, moving passive, while your upper body's doing an aggressive action, which is punching. But then I don't like how, you know what I'm saying, you stop here with the hands up and then you freeze. Like your high guard isn't there for you to try to block and catch a bunch of punches. You're doing a good job staying active with it, but there's no reason why you can't move your feet here. And if you're going to plant your feet and then try to work an active high guard, you better be punching from it too. I don't really care for it because, you know, you're too close to just be throwing just one jab. It should be like, this is a range where you should be pretending like you're on the double impact, where you punch, move your head, punch, move your head, punch, move your head, and you're throwing a lot of punches, like 2 to 3 punches. Or if it's one, you know, you can one slip, you still move your head after though. That's the main concern here. This isn't the proximity to just be throwing one jab in range. You know, he could have thrown a jab too. He could have thrown a 3, he could have thrown a 4, he could have thrown whatever, and so could you. Man, so could have you. God damn. I do like the attempt for the 6 off the frame too. So you created a little bit of space with your left hand right here. And then, yeah, almost got him. You should be chaining your punches up, man. Especially because you're in your stance to do it. So this is a good 6 just from a technical stance. It's It's the frame 6. If you came back with the 1, man, you probably would have knocked his ass down. And then again with the 2. And he only got hit with it because you just didn't roll. It should have been 2 roll, but instead you kind of like save the roll for later, then come back with another backhand, and it lands. I'm still just not a big fan of like throwing the 2 and then 6. Like if the guy was hurt a little bit, or if you just was a little bit more familiar with him, it'd be different. But you know, like you're kind of going for some real fancy shit here. It should have been a 2 roll or 2 side step, 2 3, kind of like you did earlier. It's a good shot selection. You just got to keep your block up. Cause leading with a 6 is pretty fucking crazy, pretty fucking dangerous. And then you went for 2. Like when you double up on your backhand, I'm getting the impression you're trying to really fuck them up, man. Fuck that. You need to score punches and move and be technically sound with your punches. Like you can't expect to knock somebody out, man. You gotta let proper flurries go, get some good shots off, and then keep moving. You gotta pretend like the guy is invincible. So you gotta play the game. Hit and not get hit. Don't hit and just hit and then you get hit. You know what I'm saying? I don't like when you back up to the ropes. You kind of put all your weight there. Like, that's you taking a lapse. Like, right here. Like, come on now. There's no reason to be this... To be just standing straight up like this. Like, you're kind of taking a break in the fight at a very inopportune time. I know you got some shot off and, like, you kind of walking into range, but, you know, that shit's kind of tough, Crody. I like how you stayed. All right, so you missed. You quickly shuffle out, and this is good movement, good disengagement. Shuffle back, shuffle around. As soon as your back hits the rope, you don't do enough of this though. Like it should be 1 to 2 shuffle back and then circle around, so you don't have to necessarily think like, okay, my back hits the rope. Now I'm just gonna lose my base, kind of like you did earlier. This should be the automatic thing, unless you're trying to set up a trap. But if you're trying to set up a trap, guess what? You can't bring your fucking feet together and do that shit. That's no good. You should be fucking attacking, man. Like, all right. So you cut the ring off. You could have set the trap. You know, essentially, which would just be punching once he closed that gap a little bit. And if not, well, shit. All right, get the high guard up. This could be a trap too, right? As soon as you put your hands up, you're kind of go ahead and throw. Use that shit to your advantage. Attack as soon as you go for it, because he's just right there in front of you. Instead of you just choosing to be strictly defense, you could have came up with the 6-3 right here, right? Let him open up a little bit. Because you did a good job defensively. Meet. And I don't think he's controlling you. Like, there's no control game from this guy. So you're really free to punch. So yeah, this is something you should be doing a little bit more of. So like, shuffle out, try to set up the trap with the back steps. That's good. You miss? Okay. Control that motherfucker. Don't let him get more punches off. That's something you should be doing all the fucking time. The only thing you got to do is make sure that you cause this break, right? Cause the break sometime. Like, okay, let me try to muscle him this way, or just gently push the guy off you and then disengage with him. And you got hit with this punch because you're just not punching from the proper range, man. Like, you really should be circling out. You should be circling out with the jabs, right, before you start opening up, so you're not just attacking in front of the guy. and then just getting your hand back, man. It just poor fundamental stuff that we've been working on, stuff that you should know better. Way to keep your hand up. That was a good little sequence on the inside. You didn't take any unnecessary damage right there. So it's like 1, 2, tie up. So this is part of the stuff that you got to do as well. Like you miss, tie up, spin them, and then get the fuck out of there. And then sometimes you let the ref do their job. All right, but enough of that. We'll watch the sparring with you and Tristan, and we'll see some of the improvements that you made, some of the really good improvements that you made, which will hopefully carry over to the next fight. We'll talk about some of the stuff that you are still struggling with, and then we'll watch my sparring so you can see some of the things that I need you to start implementing into your game and your overall repertoire.